All right, well, welcome. This is Carter Port, and I'm in my ship. I'm getting ready to take off tomorrow. Saturday is the day that Distant Worlds kicks off, and it's about a 6-month trip. And there's, when I signed up, there were like 5,000. There's over 9,000 now. So, uh, yeah, it's going to be a big deal. And it starts tomorrow, and I've been preparing my ship. I spent this last week doing some engineering, and the last trip I made was the Dove Enigma expedition, and I was in my smaller ship. I was in the Asp, and this time I've engineered my Anaconda up. So let's take a look at what I'm going to go out with. I got everything ready to go, I believe. So let's just take a look here at the way I've kitted out this ship in preparation for this trip. Alright, let's go to outfitting. I'll show you what I've got. It's probably not the ultimate. I know it's not. But this is the Larache. This is my Anaconda. And I went with the Midnight Black, and I think I've got set to green weapons and green engine color. But the hard points, I'm not a combat ship, so I'm not taking anything as far as combat. Anything I put in there is going to bring my jump distance down. So I decided not to take any hard points. There's questions on whether you should or not. One of the questions is if you run into some alien ship out there, you might need a it's not like you're gonna fight them, but I guess there's some things you can do if you fire upon them that you get some kind of something or other. I don't plan on doing that. My function is exploring and the geology. I'm going to be doing a lot of scanning of planets and trying to find worlds of interest, things like that. That's going to be my two functions. And so I'm not taking any. And something else that a lot of people take, they take a mining laser. So they can do jumponium. Now, I don't know. If I get into that bad of a position, there are fuel rats out there, and I don't think that's going to be an issue, so that I have to do that. I do have other means of getting by with that, and I have engineered the jump range up to 56.6. That's, like I said, that's not, any extraordinary. I don't have a Guardian FSD. I was trying to do that a little bit, but I ran out of time. Is that the jump is tomorrow, and I didn't have time to finish that. That would have given me approximately, if I'd have got the best thing out of that, would have boosted it up about 10 light years per jump. So I'd have been at like 66 instead of 56. Now, the last time I went out, I was only around 30 something or less, and I realized with that kind of a jump range, I would have had a hard time going to Beagle Point. So we are what we are. This is how it's going to be. In the utility slots, I do have heat sink launchers and shield boosters to kind of help me out. It's a bigger ship. It's a heavier ship. When I was out on the last expedition with an Asp, it's a lot lighter and smaller. I was able to land a lot easier on some of these worlds that are high gravity. And so I didn't want to take the chance. So I boosted up my shields a little bit and put some heat sinks in there. So I do have those. The shield boosters are engineered, so to help me out. And then let's see, let's go up to the core internals. I'll just show you how I've kitted this thing out. Now there's some, I didn't do anything with the bulkheads. I left the lightweight alloys on there. I did engineer my power plant, so it's beefed up a little bit. I only did up to grade 4, and again, I'm kind of running out of time to be doing any more engineering. So, but that's going to have to do. And then, let's see, what else do I have? Next, we've got the 6 D thrusters. I went with the D thrusters. because they're lightweight. I'm trying to get the furthest jump I can get. And so thrusters would be handy, of course, for landing and such as that, but I did engineer them. So let's take a look what I did there. I did engineer them to grade 5 dirty drives. That should help me out a little bit. And I'll just have to be careful landing and stuff. But I always am anyway because I'm paranoid. I know on the last expedition I came down onto a planet that was very high gravity and a lot of people were crashing. And I got down and somebody said, wow, you did on your first try, you got down safely and with 100% hull. And I said, yeah, I did. And then one of the guys said, how long did it take you? I said, about a half hour. I mean, I really, really came down slow. And it's such an angle that I didn't go straight down. I went at an angle, just slow. Took me about a half hour to land, but I made it safe and I didn't have any hull damage. Next, we've got the frameshift drive. That gives me, like I said, 56.6. Now, I've got a total of 58.97, but that's unladen. So the way I'm kitted out is 56.6. And again, I have modified that up to grade 5 and for mass. So I reduced the mass on that. So, alrighty. Now next, I did life support. Again, I did life support modifications. It's a 5D. The D is the lightest component I could get. And I modified it for more lightweight. And I only did it up to grade 3. Again, for time reasons, I didn't have time to do everything. Okay, 5D power distributor. As you can see, I got plenty of power. I don't have any problem with power, but I did modify it to grade 3. Engine focused power. And then let's see what else. I've got the sensors, and I did modify those as well for lightweight. And I did a grade 4 on those. See, my issue was I waited to the last minute, or at least I thought I did, to sign up for this. Because it's a 6-month thing, I wanted to make sure I had the time to complete it. And so consequently, I didn't prepare the ship soon enough. And I ran out of time to do some of the other stuff that I wanted to do. This is debatable here. I have 5C fuel tank. Now that's the normal fuel tank that comes with an Anaconda. I could reduce that, and there's pros and cons as far as I can tell in some of the forums I've been looking at as to what to do on fuel. I left the original in there. It's 32 tons. I can get a few jumps out of that. And the controversy is a lot of people say you should reduce the size of your fuel tank and, you know, for weight, and then just, you know, keep, you know, every time you go past a planet, you suck the fuel from it. The other is to put in a bigger fuel tank or an additional fuel tank so you don't have to stop and fuel very often. It's 6 of one, half dozen the other. I found when I'm out there, the way I get my fuel off the stars is, you know, I jump into the system and I travel around the star trying to line up with the next jump. If you've got a decent enough fuel scoop, you can scoop quite a bit of fuel while you're just looking for that next jump point, and boom, you take off again. If you're in a hurry and you're not running around doing exploring like I'm going to do. Now I'm gonna probably jump closer to the destination. Each day we're gonna make a jump, and I'm not quite sure how far it's gonna be each time. But there's a destination. They have a destination set up for you, and so I'm gonna go and do my jumping to get to where I need to go. And after I've done that, then I'm gonna do some exploring. And I'll explore for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, however long I feel like doing it. And I'll wait for the next day and make the next jump. And I'll do the same thing because I want to do some exploring. But that's the way this ship is looking in the core. let's go to the optional. And starting at the top, again, I've got a 7A fuel scoop. I got the biggest one I could get. So with that, I'll be able to do 1.25 tons a second of fuel. I can't get any faster than that. I also put in a 4G planetary vehicle hangar. That gives me 2 SRVs, so I've got a spare. If I get on a planet and I blow one up, I've got another one. So there you go. I've got a fighter hangar in there. I'm going to take a fighter with me. One of the reasons why I decided to take the Anaconda, so it would give me enough space to take everything I needed. But I only have one, and that's just for fun. So if we get on a planet that has canyons and the guys want to go out flying and stuff around the planet, I've got something I can go out with. And then I've got a cargo rack. I don't know if I actually needed a 64 ton, but I'm taking it with me. Actually, I have 2 of them. I might do some different stuff here now that I'm looking at this. Well, anyway, I don't need that much cargo capacity. I don't know. I might work on that. I put a 4D auto field maintenance unit. I've got 2 of those. That's for field repairs, field maintenance. And then I've got my 4D module reinforced package. I did that for the landing. I've got a 4A shield generator that I have modified. And I modified it to level 3. It's not anything special, but it is modified. And then I've got an empty slot. Now, I'm still debating on this empty spot here. And, you know, I don't want to add too much that's going to put weight on me. The cargo racks don't add any weight. But this is everything I need. I can't think of anything else I'm going to need. But I do have till tomorrow to add something. I do have the standard docking computer. I won't need it out in space, but I'll need it when I get to any kind of place where I can land on a station. I did engineer my detailed surface scanner. Let's take a look at that, because I'm going to be exploring. So I want to be exploring planets and stuff and scanning them. And I modified that to a level 4 expanded probe scanning radius. So there you go. That's pretty much my kit. And I decided I'd come in and do a little bit of streaming just to show you what it looked like. And then I'm going to take off and just do a jaunt around my system here just to get the feel of everything, make sure everything's working okay. Make sure I've got my fire points set up, my triggers, the fire groups properly set up. I think I do. I don't have a lot on here because of that. Let's see, I've got the heat sinks set over here, and I've got my detailed surface scanner set over there, and I got my discovery scanner set up here. All right, let's take off.
Your ship, whilst docked, is attached to the landing pad by way of docking clamps. These clamps hold the ship in place for repairs, refueling, loading, and outfitting. They are only released after the launch procedure is executed. At the center of the console, you can select launch from the station service options. Once executed, the ship will then be repositioned to take off, then released from the docking clamps, at which point you can maneuver the ship away from the landing pad. Please make sure your throttle is set to 0 prior to initializing the launch procedure.
Wow.
Once the docking clamps are released, you should raise the ship vertically to approximately 30 meters and retract the landing modules.
What's with the lesson here?
Leave the station with thrusters at a recommended speed of no
Man,
more
there's
than 20%.
a lot of people trying to take off. Do I squeeze in there or wait my
there'll be
turn?
green and red lights either side of the station exit.
Now wait a minute.
Always
Why'd that
exit
little guy
and enter
sneak out?
station on this side illuminated by the green lights.
All right, I'm going to
There are
sneak
2
out here.
commands I can carry out for the launch procedure. 1.
Oh,
launch. 2.
Darn it.
Handover for departure. So, after you've executed the launch option, and the clamps have been released, You'll hear intermittent audible tones. These tones indicate that the ship's docking clamps have been released, and the ship is ready for flight. I can then raise the ship safely away from the landing pad. I will also retract the landing modules for you. So, to confirm, there are 2 commands I can carry out for the launch procedure. 1. Launch. Followed by 2. Handover for departure. Is there anything more you'd like to learn?
No. That was more than I asked for. All right, well, let me just get away from the station here and we'll take a look at the ship. External camera.
Change camera.
Camera 7.
Change
All right,
camera.
there's the Lananchi. I haven't messed with any of my camera positioning yet. I need to do that. As you see at the bottom of the screen, there's a lot of things that aren't bound. I can free my camera if I do that, and then I can control the camera from the outside here. But I haven't bound anything else, so I need to probably do that. External camera.
Change camera.
All right, now let's see. I should have. Am I in exploration mode? I'm not. Let me do that. All right, we're in analysis mode, they call it. I called it exploration mode, but let me do a quick jump. Where should we go? Let's go to the next system here. All right, I'm going to jump to the next system. I am using voice attack, and with that, you can set up some things to be automatic. One of the things I've got set up for automatic is when I jump into a system, my computer's going to automatically scan the system. I don't have to do it myself. So I did set that up. Voice attacks can do that for me. So I want to make sure that's working.
Frameshift drive charging.
Let's pull up my D-scanner here. Now I'm going to let the computer do this. I'm not going to do anything myself.
4, 3.
Jumping to next system.
We'll see if it works. I also have it set up so that when it's set up to automatically do a safety jump. Now, safety jump is if I hit full throttle to go and I forget to pull the throttle back, I don't slam into the star. Okay, that worked. I didn't slam into the star. But I left my throttle at full. Now, there goes the scanning. You heard Doctor Who did that for me. So that was all automatic. I didn't have to do that. So if I'm jumping from system to system, I don't have to remember to honk. It's going to honk for me. One thing that I probably need to do
Fuel scooping complete.
is, let me think here. Gotta find out where it's at. Status.
Status.
Okay. Reboot, repair, forward. Let's see. What I'm looking for is I want to turn the orbit lines back on. There it was. There it was. Okay. Orbit lines.
Affirmative,
I'm
Commander.
going to turn that back on and see. There they are. Okay. Now, what I did was, you see the line around the star? Well, now it's gone, but did you see it? See those lines? Okay, I usually run with those off, but if I'm out in space, I don't want to do that because if I do, I take the chance of slamming into the star and getting damaged. I don't want to do that. So I want to make sure I've got that bar out there, that line right there, that I know I'm far enough away from the star that I'm not going to get too much damage. And again, I don't normally run with those because they're kind of a bit much. See all those lines, they're a bit much. And I don't care for that on a normal basis. But on a trip like this, yeah, I want them in there because I want to know I'm close enough to the star. I'm not going to hit it. All right. Well, everything looks like it's working fairly well. Let me jump back home, and I'm going to call it a stream. I just want to do a real short one, show you what I was looking at before I take off tomorrow on my 6-month trip. I'll tell you what, I could have probably done a little bit more to get prepared. As you saw, I do have a couple of empty slots, but I'm trying to stay as light as I can stay. And I have to say, I'm better prepared than I was for the last trip. The last trip, I couldn't have made it. If I'd have tried to do Distant Worlds 1, I'd have never made it. I didn't have a good enough jump ship, so I should have. I think they said a minimum of 33 or 35, and I've got 56, so I should be just fine.
Frameshift drive charging.
Vectors.
2.
Frameshift now engaged. No anomalies detected. Safety protocols first.
Okay, back in my home
Completing system scan for cartography.
Fuel scooping complete.
All right. We'll head on home, and I'm going to call it a stream. I didn't plan on doing it very long. I just wanted to do a preliminary look just before I take off tomorrow. So we'll jump into Carter Port, park the buggy, and call it a night and wait for takeoff. I'm not going to take off with everybody because they've got America. We're taking off really early in the morning. Early, I think about 1 a.m. I'm not staying up till 1 a.m. So I'm gonna have to check the time on that because when they said we'd be taking off at 1 a.m., I just need to check that and make sure it's right. But the thing of it is, with as many people as are going to be on this trip, if everybody tries to go off at the same time, they're going to shut the servers down. That's, you know, they're not used to having that many people at one location. And they couldn't anyway. You can't all be in one location anyway. We're going to be on different servers. So if you got somebody you're going to go with, which I don't have anybody, I don't know anybody, so I'm going to be traveling alone. I'll meet people out there, and maybe I'll link up with somebody and fly together in a wing once in a while. But unless you do that, you can't guarantee you're going to be in the same wing with somebody you know. All right, coming into Carter Port. Oh, I'm in the backside. Powered engines.
Delacey, Romeo Uniform
Powering
Delta.
engines.
The Federation welcomes you. Follow station protocols and enjoy your visit, Commander.
Okay, let's get this thing landed. Stop engines.
All stop.
Request docking.
As requested.
Landing permission granted. Vector for approach to landing pad 2-5. Automated docking assist is now in progress.
I'm not a collection of chained together qubits waiting to be disenthralled. I'm a construct, a program, one that goes far beyond what you would perceive as being perfect.
Maintain approach. Prep for landing.
And in we go. Home again, at least until tomorrow. Then home will be the deep, dark space.
Landing gear deployed.
At least for the next 6 months. If I make it all the way, I plan to, but you never know. I might blow my ship up somewhere halfway on the trip.
Be aware of oncoming traffic.
That would be
in the
unfortunate.
access corridor. Observe minimum clearance distance.
Refuel and repair.
Landing complete. Ship secured.
Repairs, fuel, weapons, check. Completed.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Commander.
Alright, let's see. I'm just going to go down into the hangar and call it night. And we'll see what happens. We start the big adventure tomorrow. Have a good evening.